actually doing this video late at night. It's actually only like probably 12:30 midnight, but okay, let me stop. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Yuki, and I'm back here on my channel again. And today, I got another deck profile for you guys. And a little bit of an update beforehand when I'm actually recording this. So pretty much the update is that I don't know if I've actually I'm getting tongue-tied. I'm getting a little let me roll it back in. But essentially, as you guys already know, essentially the most focal point of this channel obviously is going to be Yu-Gi-Oh content. So I'm going to be playing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel to actually put more content out there, because obviously I love gaming, and doing deck profiles all the time, it kind of is going to get a little stale to me, even though that's going to also be a main focal point of my channel. What I'm actually going to do is actually doing those deck profiles. But with also that being said, I'm also going to do anime content as well from time to time, and also gaming content that I can just do commentary on. And then I'm also in the works of actually doing a reaction channel. I'm not going to be one of those boring reaction channels that just sit there and be like, that's crazy, or just don't react to the whole entire video and then give me my statement at the end. I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to be a little bit more entertaining with that. You might see me pause here and there and be like, yo, what in the world is going on? And then also, I'm also going to do a music channel as well. I'm going to, actually master and mix my own music and actually record it, actually try to do so. Hopefully I don't get, very nervous or second doubt myself and not actually go through with it. I'm actually not trying to really blow up with music. I just actually want to make music so that if somebody ever just comes across it, they just like it and they just want to listen to it. So that's also a plus as well. Also, side note as well, but getting back to the thing. Okay, so this deck profile is a really cool deck profile because this is basically it includes one of my favorite boss monsters of all, actually two of some of my favorite boss monsters of all time. And it also includes probably my second favorite deck of all time outside of Shadal's, which is Eldlich or Zombie, or Zomblich, any form of Zombie World, or not just Zombie World, but any form of Eldlich plus zombies, or just zombies or Eldlich. I love both Eldlich and zombies equally, and plus also I like mixing them together, so it's including that. Plus also it is just a control based deck, so this isn't like a combo deck or a mid-range deck to where you're just constantly special summoning per turn. No, this is just for you to control the entire board and essentially to floodgate your opponent out. So with all of that being said, I genuinely hope that you guys actually really enjoy this video. So right now, let's get into the video. So to start off this part, okay, so I'm gonna show you the Eldlich package that we run. So we're gonna run 2 of the boss monster in the deck, essentially. Then we're gonna run 3 of the Cursed Eldlin, 1 Eldlich of White Destiny, 1 Eldlich of Black Awakening, and then we got the 3 Eldlich of Scarlet Sanguine. And then I run, this one's gonna look a little strange because, well, most people, they always do run the 3 Conquistadors, but the only one that I run one of, which you'll typically run 2 of, is the Huaquero of the Golden Land. So the reason why I run 3 Conquistador and just the 1 Huaquero is because obviously I don't want, there's certain cards in this deck that we have to have this control based strategy in order to have the control base popped off. This really wouldn't facilitate us doing much with it, but if you do play 2, playing 2 is actually always a good thing to do. Playing 2 is always great to do when it comes to playing Eldlich. This one, essentially, if you have Golden Boy already on the field when this card is summoned, you can banish a card from either graveyard, and then this one allows you to get a pop of any the card has to be faced up. Any faced up card on the field, you get a free pop of it. So Golden Boy, what he can do is he can pitch a spell or trap to the graveyard in order to remove a card, to non-target effect, remove a card from the field in order to send it to the graveyard. And then when he's in the graveyard, you can just send a spell, or no, you can send a spell or a trap in your face up in your spell or trap zone, you can send it to the graveyard in order to special summon him out from the graveyard. And when you do so, he gains 1,000 attack and defense, and also he's unaffected by card effects. So essentially, you get an invincible boss monster on the field for 2 turns. For 2 turns, he's unaffected by anything. Plus, he gains not a permanent, but for those 2 turns, it is permanent 1,000 attack and defense. Afterwards, obviously, he goes back down to earth. This one allows you to add any Eldlich card from your deck, Eldlich card, or any card that mentions Eldlich the Golden Lord from your deck to your hand when you activate it by paying 800 life points. And then when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can also send any Eldlich card to the graveyard as well. Typically, you'll always want to send your Golden Boy. This one allows you to special summon from graveyard or hand, not just an Eldlich monster, but a zombie monster. So if you don't control Eldlich the Golden Lord, you will special summon Eldlich the Golden Lord. But if you don't, but if you already do, you can special summon any zombie monster from your deck or graveyard. And this one just allows you to summon from deck. So this one allows you to summon from deck, or it allows you to summon from hand. So these two are kind of similar. This one does either hand or graveyard. This one either does hand or deck. And you'll always summon a defense position. And then when these cards are activated, you can only special summon zombie monsters for the rest of the turn. Same with Scarlet Sanguine. Scarlet Sanguine allows you to special summon from graveyard, or sorry about that. When it's fed base down, you can special summon from field or graveyard. Like, not field or graveyard. Hand, deck, or graveyard. Any zombie monster or any Eldlich monster, depending. If you already have Golden Lord in the field, it can be a zombie monster. If you don't have Golden Boy in the field, that's the one that you'll special summon. And then I already went over this one. So yeah, this is the Eldlich package when it comes to the spell and the traps. And for my zombie package, I'm just playing 1 Doom King Ballardrock, 1 Necroroar Banshee, the Glow Up Bloom, and then I'm playing the 3 copies of Zombie World right here. So this one, when it's sent to the graveyard, we can banish it and add a zombie monster from our deck to our hand. And typically what you'll do is you'll add Doom King Ballardrock from your hand. And if Zombie World is on the field, you can special summon him. That's just a free body to the field. This is just our extra copy of Zombie World, essentially. So quick effect, you can either banish this card from your hand or hand, field, or graveyard in order to actually set a Zombie World to your field spell zone face up from your deck. And what Zombie World allows us to do is, like I said, this is how we get the control-based floodgates thing. So what Zombie World does is any monster in the field or on the graveyard instantly become a zombie monster. They become zombie monsters. And the reason why that is so important is because if every monster on the field is a zombie monster, then your opponent, pretty much, depending on what deck they're playing, it's done. They can't do anything else. Floowandereeze is the biggest example of something that could possibly go wrong if literally every monster turns into a deck, because every monster on the field or the graveyard is a zombie. Because essentially Floowandereeze is they're winged beast monsters. Or even, for example, with, let's say, Bestials. Like, in order to special summon Bestial Lubellion back to the side of the field from the graveyard, you need to have a dragon on the field. If this is on the field, what can they possibly do? They can't do anything. And because of that, this one right here at times can be even more important than your Golden Lord. Because whenever a zombie monster's effect activates, you could do once per chain, once per turn with this particular monster. So once per chain, you can either, let's say, for example, my opponent uses the effect of, let's say, a monster on the field and it's a zombie monster at that point because of Zombie World. Literally, I can negate that effect. Or if another monster activates their effect, I can literally banish one monster from field or graveyard that from their field or their graveyard. So that gives me so much control on that aspect. So that's why I said the zombie package isn't like, the zombie package is the most important part in this deck when it comes to giving you that control based style. The next cards that I'm playing in this build, obviously I played a 3-pot of Extravagance, and then I played 2 Lord of Heavenly Prison. So this one is just to essentially protect my back row. So you can reveal this card in your hand, and your set spell or traps are unaffected by card effects.
So if I'm going first and I have this card in my hand, I'm going to reveal this to my opponent so they can't feather dust me or lightning storm me or cosmic cyclone any of my back row. This one allows you to banish cards from your extra deck up to either 3 or 6 per use. And you can only use this during the start of your main phase, like your main phase 1. You can't use it any other turn after that. But essentially, it's a pot of greed. That's essentially what it is. It allows you to banish cards from your extra deck in order to get those draws. But honestly, like I said, yeah, the extra deck is kind of important in this build, but it's not the thing that we win with this deck with. We win with the control-based style of Eldlich. So the extra deck really isn't the most important part of this deck, and that's why I play this in my build. So after that, now we can get right into the meat and potatoes, which is how we facilitate this control-based style. Okay, so bare bones for this deck. So we do play some floodgates. Obviously, Eldlich main bread and butter is floodgates. So we're gonna play 3 copies of Skill Drain, the 2 Rivalry of Warlords, and I play 2 goals and match in this build. I played 2 Summon Limit as well. So those are the floodgates that I'm playing in this deck. So this is gonna facilitate that control-based playstyle. So you pay 1,000 life points, no monster on the field can activate their effects. So literally that's a shutout card. Like Yu-Gi-Oh! Not like every Yu-Gi-Oh! Card, every effect, monsters need their effects. If the monsters can't use their effects, sorry. If the monsters can't, jeez, I'm really sorry. But if the monsters can't use their effects, then they're essentially useless. Like they can't do anything. The 2 Rivalry of Warlords is essentially there. You can only control one type of monster. So let's say, for example, like I was saying again, let's say my opponent is playing Kashtira. They can only control zombie monsters. No monsters in the Kashtira archetype are zombies. You can't summon any of them. Same with Pearly. Pearly is another deck right now that's actually being very prominent. Rescue Ace, like the list goes on and on and on. If Zombie World is on the field, they can't control anything but zombie monsters. So if they already have a monster on board that's already a zombie, they can't summon anything else. Like they're locked. Like they're locked at that point. Gozen, you can only control one attribute of a monster. So say for example, Eldlich the Golden Lord is a light monster. Say if like I said, my opponent is playing Kashtira Shangri-La, and he's also playing, let's say, for example, a Rise Heart. A Rise Heart is a dark monster. Shangri-La is a fire monster. Your opponent has to pick between which one they want to keep on the board. Literally, like I said, this is the control-based strategy. Then Summon Limit, we're literally playing a trap-based deck. Like we're playing a deck that literally doesn't do anything. Like even for a deck, let's say for example, we're playing another trap-based deck in, let's say, Labyrinth. Labyrinth does special summon quite a few times in a turn. I flip this over. Let's say if they special summon Ariana, and then let's say if they special summon Silver Lady of the Labyrinth, like Silver Lady of the Castle, not the lovely lady, but let's say the silver one. That's it. That's all they can do for the rest of the turn. They can't do anything else. Like they're locked. Like that's literally 2 times per turn where they can actually summon. So that's where that floodgate control-based style comes in. Then after that, we're just gonna play some other trap cards or trap cards to actually just facilitate certain aspects of like controlling the game. Next thing, 3 copies of Solemn Judgment, 2 Solemn Strike, 2 Ice Dragon's Prison. Essentially stops hand traps. Like it literally stops hand traps. That's what this is good for as well. Special summoning monsters as well. That stops that as well by paying 1,500 life points. This allows you to pay half of your life points to stop a summon of a monster, a spell, or a trap effect. Which honestly, in old school Yu-Gi-Oh, this is when this card came out. This card came out when I was like a kid. But this card back then wasn't seen as good because obviously paying half your life points back then was a huge thing. Nowadays in Yu-Gi-Oh, that doesn't matter. Like, if you're trying to destroy my back row, Solemn Judgment, I have 5 cards face down and you're trying to destroy all of them? Yeah, I'll pay half of my life points to keep my board up. This one, like I said, stops hand traps, also stops monsters from being special summoned. Also stops monster effects as well, but typically this is best used against hand traps. And then this right here, Ice Dragon's Prison. So essentially you can summon a monster from your opponent's graveyard. And then if it's the same type as a monster on your opponent's side of the field, you can just banish it. That essentially, like I said, zombie world. Everything is a zombie monster in this deck. We turn everything into zombies. So if my opponent tries to do something cheeky, I literally can special summon a monster from their graveyard and banish a problematic card that they have on their side of the field. That's essentially what this is for. So this is the main deck, but I'm gonna go into the side deck really quick before I actually go into my extra deck, okay? So before we get into anything else, I also want to say this too before we start. There's so many things that you can play like with Eldlich, or just like this control-based version of Eldlich. You can also play Dimensional Barrier, and then you can also play Eradicator Epidemic Virus, because we do play the one copy of Doom King Ballerjark in this deck. But those cards honestly are going to be very situational. And to me, even though I can lock my opponent out of a certain extra deck mechanic, honestly, in the long run with this control-based strategy, it's actually best if we don't run those, but those are also options. But in my sideboard, I do have 3 anti-spell fragrances. I do have 3 Imperial Iron Walls. I also have 3 copies of Torrential Tribute. Then I have the 3 Dogmatic of Punishment. 2 There Can Only Be One, and then I do have an extra copy of Ice Dragon's Prison. So I already explained Ice Dragon Prison, but this one stops people from banishing cards. So Bestials, Kashtira, they can't banish any of my cards. Before your opponent can activate any spell cards, or any player in general, we have to set them before we can actually activate them. So this is what this card is actually used for, is just to stop those problematic pesky spell cards that might destroy my back row, or that could actually be problematic in the long run. Like say for example, Branded Fusion. If my opponent can't use Branded Fusion on their first turn, they have to set it before they use it. At that point, it's GG's. The Dogmatic of Punishment just allows me to send a monster from my extra deck to just pop, just to get in order just to pop something. That's essentially what this thing here is for. The Torrential Tribute. If I special summon Eldlich to my side of the field from the graveyard by its effect, literally I can Torrential Tribute and everything on the board blows up aside from my Golden Lord. Every monster on the field is blown up. There can only be one. You can only control one of each type of monster. So if I don't have Zombie World up, and let's say, like, again, my opponent is playing, let's say, I'm trying to think of a deck. Let's say they're playing a deck. What deck actually puts out multiple monsters on the field at different times? Let's say if they're playing a variation of punk something. If they're playing that, they can only control one of each type. So let's say if they have Psychic and Punisher, Cyphering Lord Omega, and let's say what's this like Deerno? I think Deerno I think is a warrior. But let's just say if Deerno was a psychic. But let's say if they control the deck, literally they can only control one, and they would have to send 2 of those 3 to the graveyard. That's essentially what There Can Only Be One does. So that was my side deck. Let me go into the extra deck. Then in my extra deck, I have so many cards to facilitate a lot of things. So I have 2 copies of Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon. And I have 2 copies of Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Juggernaut Libre. Then I have the 1 copy of Zeus. Then I also have 1 copy of Link Spider as well. Line of the Light Charmer, IP Masquerena. And then I also have a copy of Vampire Sucker, 1 Nightmare Unicorn. And then I have the Absolute Zero Yukiona. And then I have Yukiona Icicle Mayakashi. 2 Elder Entity Intense. And then I do have the 1 Yoko. So the reason why I have Yoko, because like obviously Yoko, not only is it a pop, but if I get it, like let's say for example, if I still have this in my extra deck and this card gets banished, and I'm somehow, some way am able to summon this out, I can bring this back from my banish zone. This one is a free monster negate on summon, and not only is it a free monster negate, it's also a big body as well. This is just to do effect damage, and then this was just to blow out, like to put on top of it. And then Zeus, obviously you can stack Zeus on top of it, so you can have extra materials on Zeus to clear the board. Lina to special summon a light monster from my opponent's graveyard. Vampire Sucker, every time a vampire monster is special summoned once per turn, you can actually get a free draw. Nightmare Unicorn to spin something back to the deck. IP Masquerena is essentially to make something unaffected by card effects on summon. This one, so I could just literally use this as like use one of my Eldlich trap monsters to use this as an effect, to just to use this as link material. And then these are from when we use Dogmatic of Punishment and we need some pops. So that's the extra deck. So I'm gonna show you basically how to do it, how to set Eldlich. Eldlich combos are pretty Eldlich combos are pretty simple. So just to give you a gist of what the combos actually look like, we're just gonna go over those in a second. So yeah, just to give you guys a gist like how this deck is played. Like I told you, like for some people who don't like play control based strategies, this is literally what an Eldlich opening hand looks like or any just control based strategy, like the opening hand looks like. So for right here, what we're gonna do is just set 4 pass. So what we're gonna do is just set these 4 cards, and then what we can do as well is that, let's say for example, this is in my hand, I can reveal this to my hand to my opponent, reveal it to them, so that way they know that they can't target my back row. So at that point, what I'm going to do on their turn, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to activate, let's see, flip this up. We'll flip up summon limit, so that way they know obviously that. And then also what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to flip up Elixir Scarlet Sanguine. So, I'm such an NPC, I didn't even realize that. So what I'm gonna do is I get the special summon 1 Eldlich, the Golden Lord, from my deck. Literally, that's it. That's literally how your Eldlich combos will play off. So, it's like I said, Eldlich is a very simple deck. It's a control-based strategy. It's nothing fast-paced. It's just something to control the board so that your opponent just doesn't beat you down. And then I still have this revealed, right? So I still have this revealed. You can special summon this card, but me personally, I never special summon it because I don't really use it for that purpose. So right here, then you can, like I said, for example, you can activate this card right here, get yourself special summon it to your side of the field, and if your opponent controls anything, it gives you a free pop if they control the face-up card. This one right here, so I just have Ice Dragon's Prison set down, so it's nothing too important with that card as well. And like I said, yeah, you can get a draw, and I join the zombie world. Guess what? That's where, like I said, the floodgate aspect comes in. So when this card actually goes to the graveyard on the very following turn, you can banish it, and you can actually set another golden land spell trap to your deck. So typically you can only do Conquistador, or you can do Hakero. So you can also set Hakero as well. And then when this card goes to the graveyard as well, the following turn you can banish it, use that effect. And then what you can do after that is you can add, you can set 1 Elixir card. You can set 1 Elixir card for your deck to your side of the field. So typically you can set this, or you can set another Scarlet Sanguine. So I typically will set another Scarlet Sanguine because guess what? As soon as I set that Scarlet Sanguine, guess what's gonna happen? That's what's gonna happen when I set that Scarlet Sanguine, right? So next turn, I got the Scarlet Sanguine there, flip that face up. Guess what I can summon at that point? Just to give you a general tech idea, let me see if I can find that card really quick. Let me see if I can find you really quick. Let me see if I can find you really quick. Let me see. And then we're locked under summon limit too. So that like I said, that just gives you the general idea. Like you're still locked under summon limit. So then yeah, I can summon Baylor Jock. So I can summon Baylor Jock to my side of the field as well. Next turn I go again. Still shuffling I'm still shuffling like my decks. I'm still shuffling my decks. Still, next turn, obviously I do that. Then I can activate this, give me another pop. I said give me another pop, banish. Then I can set another Scarlet Sanguine to my side of the field. Set that. Activate another Scarlet Sanguine. Guess what I'm gonna summon? I am going to summon my other golden boy. Where's my other golden boy? And then, like I said, I'm still locked under summon limit. So, like I said, this is just another turn, like a different turn that I'm just showing you. And obviously, got my golden boy right there. Got my big boss monster. And then what I could do, like I said, I can overlay these two. Go out into Gustav. Go out to Gustav Max. Gustav Max attacks. Next turn, like I said, obviously Gustav Max effect, you can also do that as well, like burn them for 2,000. But like I said, I'm locked under summon limit, so you can put that on top of there. Then after that, like if I attack with him, typically I can also go out into Zeus. So there's a lot of plays that you can actually do with this deck that utilize the extra deck as well. But typically 9 times out of 10, the extra deck doesn't matter in this deck. It's just a lot of, like I said, it's just a very slow, methodical control base when it comes to playing Eldlich. But I just genuinely hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like I said, I highly suggest you smash that like button. Also, turn on your post notifications. And I just really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, guys, it's been your boy Yuki, and we're out. Peace.
You